Now, how long are we talking for?
20, 30 minutes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So we're live now. Yay!
Look at us.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Turn my camera slightly because so I can put myself at an angle and I don't have the sun in my face. It's actually sunny in Ireland. Would you believe? Unheard of.
I love the sun. Okay, hello and welcome, my friends. Oh my goodness.
Hello.
So today we will chat with our friend Baya and get a taste on how to make friends with food and your body using EFT tapping. And I will, of course, share an oil blend. Actually, I have 4 oil blends and a crystal that may help with tapping. Thank you for joining us. Footie here, coming to you with a cup of kindness and inspiration. I inspire busy women to take their essential oils, merge them with practicing meditation, vision boards, and theme-related DIYs, freeing themselves from the daily stress of their everyday lives by creating while learning to use their oils. So as you can see, we have our lovely Baya with us this morning. We had to change our evening time so Baya could join us because she lives in Ireland. And so we're so excited. Oh my gosh. She is the CEO of Body Magic, and she teaches EFT tapping for weight loss, but not just weight loss. And I started tapping about 5 years ago for my anxiety. And tapping has been an excellent tool for me. Then I think it was a year and a half ago, I'm not sure, I took Baya's Foundation for Body Magic Weight Loss course. And it was about, I think, 4 weeks, 4-week program. So to this day, I cannot eat pretzels. And if I do,
makes me laugh.
I get so sick. I get heartburn like you wouldn't believe. So honestly, what this woman teaches works. It is amazing. So Baya, we can't wait for you to share with us what EFT is all about and how you got started. And 2 questions I received were, is Body Magic about weight loss? And where is the magic in the body magic?
Yeah. Okay. So shall I go forth? I'll tell you a bit myself first. If you've got any questions, please interrupt me. But my name is Baya. I live in the southeast of Ireland. I trained as a psychotherapist a long, long time ago, and I worked in the NHS when a colleague of mine told me about EFT tapping. And that was about 20 years ago. And I was one of the first people to be trained in the UK. I was actually trained by the guy who created EFT tapping. His name is Gary Craig. And I found that that's the magic bit about it. There's something strangely magical about EFT tapping because it sounds very odd. You tap on parts of your body, your face and your hands and your collarbone, and it triggers a reaction in your mind. And it does feel a bit magical because, as Footie said, last year we were looking at food cravings, and she worked with pretzels, and she's never eaten a pretzel since. And before then, she told me that she'd sit in front of the television and eat a packet of pretzels without ever thinking about it. And that's the magic element to it. Now, when I started teaching EFT, I taught it to all sorts of people, doctors, therapists, people in general. There was this slight worry about it because people used to say, well, what is it? Is it witchcraft? And it sort of had that strange feel about it. It was a bit weird, it was a bit odd. And this year, EFT tapping has become a clinically recognized, entirely scientifically analyzed tool for the treatment of anxiety disorder and PTS, which is post-traumatic stress. And it has now been researched beyond anything. we now have a body of evidence that absolutely proves that the technique works. It proves that it does change the pathways in your brain, and it does make a difference. If you're interested to find out more, you want to go, and you've got a sort of scientific mind, go on to Dr. Stapleton, Stapleton, Petra Stapleton website. She's an Australian professor at the University of Melbourne, I think, and she's done a lot of research about EFT tapping, and she has written papers about it. And for the first time ever, the University of Lyon in the south of France has just announced that EFT tapping is now part of their curriculum for an BA in psychology. So we are way away from this whole witchcraft thing. We are now come of age. EFT works because it triggers the acupressure points on your face. And as it's doing that, it is allowing your animal brain, your flight or fight brain, if you wish, to calm itself down. And as you're doing the tapping, it's a bit like a meditation. It allows your frontal lobe, which is your more modern brain, the brain that makes you think, it allows that part of you to snap out of whatever you're into. For example, mindlessly eating pretzel. You do a bit of tapping. As you're doing that, you suddenly sit up, think to yourself, what am I doing? Do I actually want to do this, which is fine, or what's going on? And a lot of the time, when I ask my clients, well, you're eating the biscuits or whatever, what's going on? And they'll do a bit of tapping, and they'll say, well, I'm bored. Because every night I'm bored and I don't know what to do, and I'm sitting there watching whatever. And I'm not suggesting that's you, Footie, but I mean, I do that. I sit in front of the television, and if I'm not, and I watch something, and I'm not even thinking about how much I don't want to watch it, I just watch it, and out of frustration, very often, people will eat. So body magic, that's the magical part of it, if you wish. That's the EFT tapping. It's not about weight loss at all. It's about how to let food be just food. We need to eat, and that is one of the big problems. You know, I've said that myself. I mean, I lost 100 pounds in weight using EFT tapping in the past 15 years, and I've never put it back on again. And I used to think, if only I was addicted to something else. Like cigarettes, and I could just stop, and that would be fine. I mean, it would be tough, but I would just stop. But you can't stop eating, because you need to eat, because otherwise your poor body will collapse. Obviously, you'll die if you don't eat. So it isn't about weight loss. It's about, well, obviously one of the side effects would be that you lose weight, but it's more about how do you make friends with food? How do you eat because you're hungry? And how do you eat because this is the food your body wants? Not because you're bored, you're sad, you're angry, you're tired, not because you're feeling an emotion. Don't feel comfortable with, so you kind of eat it away. Does that make sense, Footie?
Yeah? Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So that's what we're looking at, and and then in the course we are running, which is 5 weeks this time, we're also going to look at a very simple procedure that is pure EFT tapping, and it's a formula to stop you craving food. And as Footie says, it's very, very successful, and you can do it for anything really. You can do it to stop smoking as well. And you just don't want it anymore. And it's very simple. And I will teach you how to do that. And then we're going to look at something that is new, well, not new, but it's new on the course. Something that is called psychological reversal, which is why on earth we know all these things, what we must eat and what we mustn't eat, and what's good for us and what isn't good for us, and how much we should eat. We know all of that, and yet very often we find ourselves slipping back into the old patterns. And very often, again, people will say to me, what's the point? It hasn't worked before. And it is true that maybe EFT tapping won't work, but at the very least, it will teach you how to relax, and it will teach you a way to not be in that world of automatic pilot. Mm-hmm. I do this because I do it, or I do this because I can't help myself. And every day I do this. And at the same time, I beat myself up because how could I do that? And I'm a terrible person, and look at me, I'm a failure. And we look at all that. On the course, we actually look at, well, what do? You can also use EFT tapping to kind of accept what happened and move on, and not get stuck in this cycle of, I'm a failure. There's no point. Why would I bother? That we slip into, because, we do, sometimes we make mistakes. And there's no worse self-critic than people who are not in connection with their body and not in connection with food. And Body Magic is also about that. It's reconnecting you with your body. It doesn't matter what your body looks like. And I'm on a big campaign at the moment. You'll understand that, Footie. Is that I'm on a big campaign at the moment. I'm 67 this year. And I am sick and tired of people saying to me, oh, well, you're only 67, that's young. I am not young. I want to claim being older. I want to claim being an elder. I want to have my wrinkles and my grey hair, and I want to enjoy it. Because thousands of people, millions of people don't get to enjoy that. But I want to be there with my body, and I want my body to be as comfortable with this aging process as it possibly can, and to feed my body with what feels right for her right here, right now. Now, I'll give an example. For some reason, my body doesn't want coffee anymore. I loved coffee, absolutely loved coffee, and now my body's like, meh, to coffee. Now, I have tapped with that, and I've accepted it. I did have to say have a period when I was forcing myself to have coffee because I like the taste of it. My body wasn't happy about it. And if you think the number of times again when I hear someone say to me, I have eaten whatever, chocolates, until I felt sick, and my body hated it, but I still did it. Why? And what we will do on the course is we might not necessarily find out why, because that doesn't really matter. Finding why doesn't change things. What changes things is finding out what are you feeling what's going on in your mind whilst you're doing it. How useful is the coffee, is the chocolate? Why do you, because you're not stupid. Nobody eats a box of chocolates because they're stupid. They do it somewhere because in their mind, they think they're helping themselves. What does the chocolate help you with? Does it make, you think it makes you feel better? Is there a little, sort of because it's got something in it, some chemical in it that makes you perk up? We'll find out. And then we will look at, well, yes, but it makes my body sick. So what else can I do? Like, you started doing walking a lot, and that's really perked you up. I mean, you could have decided, well, no, I'm just going to eat chocolate instead. It possibly would have had the same result, but your body likes the walking better, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And your mind also, your mind, your mental health is better, because actually, coffee and chocolate are a depressant in the end, because it gives you up, which means you get down, and then you want more, and then the zigzag of it. So it's that thing about, well, what does my body want? And I'm going to listen and see what it says, and I'm going to try it out. And always, when we do these courses and when I teach EFT tapping, I do it in the spirit of curiosity. We are wondering. We're not telling people off. We're not telling us. We're wondering. I wonder what it would be like if I ate less chocolate. I wonder what it would be like if I went for a walk more often. And then using the tapping, because it gives us that stability, that sense of pausing, just taking your time, just tapping away. It's a bit, as I said, it's a bit like a meditation. You're tapping away, and then you think, yes, maybe I shall have go with that and see what it feels like in the spirit of curiosity. Does that answer the questions, do you think?
Well, Maria is asking about smoking.
Yeah.
She wanted to know, would tapping help me with quitting?
Yes, yes. So tapping, absolutely. It's the same technique. I'm very happy to talk to Maria if she wants to find out more. It's cutting off the desire for what the cigarette makes you feel. Mm-hmm. And I used to smoke, not massively. I'm one of those people who can smoke the odd cigarette, just like that, because I fancy it. I'm very lucky like that. But it's very annoying, actually, because I have now completely lost the taste for it.
Right.
And you'll laugh. And that, it's like, okay, well, I'll have a small cigarette, it's fine. And I was in Italy in December. And for some reason, when I'm in France, I'm French, or I'm in Italy, I'm from the south, you sit at the cafe and then somebody brings a packet of cigarettes out, and the next thing you know, you've got a cigarette in your hand and you're laughing away. Just the one, so not. And this time I was in Italy in December and I really did not want a cigarette. And it was a bit miffed. I was like, oh no, but we're on a cafe in on the terrace in Florence, and no, my body was like, no, not doing it. And I didn't, obviously. I was going to, but so that is the effect it has. And what we will look at, so if I was working with somebody who wanted to stop smoking, it's a question of looking at what is it helping you with. As I said, you're not stupid. If you could stop, you would. So what is it helping you with? What else can you do instead? Mm-hmm. And how do you go from one to the other? So, it's a real process of adaptation, because it's happened to me once when in England a long time ago. I used to teach practitioners, because I'm a practitioner. I can teach. What's it called? A master trainer of EFT tapping. So I could teach people how to become practitioners. And there was this young woman. I used to run big trainings with 30, 40 people in the room over a weekend. And this young woman said, I want to stop smoking. So I said, okay, fine. I was very early in my EFT career. And lo and behold, I do the procedure and she's like, do you want a cigarette? No. And then she has a panic attack. Because I had not dealt with why smoking was helping her. What it was that was helping her. That was such a teaching for me. So before we go and dismantle a habit we have like that, we need to find out why it's useful. How does it help? Because we know that it's bad for you. You're not stupid. You could stop, you would stop if you could. You know it's bad for you, which is a real shame, because it is enjoyable. You see what I mean? And some people will say, but what do I do? Because sometimes it's like a drink in social circumstances. And I experienced that with food the same. You go to a party, and if you don't drink, you don't smoke, and you don't eat very much, well, you're a bit stuck, aren't you? Because what do you do with your hands? What do you actually, most of the time at the party, people will either drink, go outside for a smoke, or have a plate in their hands and eat.
That's right.
Yeah?
Yes.
And what do you do if you don't do any of these things? And on top of which, people say to you, would you want another piece of cake, whatever, pretzel, whatever? And you're saying no. And you feel such an idiot, because everybody seems to enjoy themselves eating away, and you don't want to. So you kind of feel like, well, maybe it's what you're meant to be doing. Maybe enjoying yourself means you have to eat or drink or smoke or whatever. And that is kind of retraining your brain and to find out, well, okay, so what else could I do? Mm-hmm. Do I actually like parties? Do I want to go to parties? Which parties do I want to go to? With whom? With people who do what? And all that thing. And try to refocus your world and your life so that you do things that don't trigger you. and you don't eat out of anxiety or smoke or any other amount of other things, you know, you don't do it because you don't know what else to do, because you're anxious or you feel out of place or you don't know what else to do, so you do it. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, you have an upcoming course in
Yes, I do.
the end of January.
Yes, it starts next Thursday, actually. Something happened to me at Christmas time. I have this, for historical reason, to do with my childhood, I find it very difficult when there's lots of food around. It's really not my thing. I hate it. And I have this serious compulsion to eat it all, to make it go away. And obviously I don't do that anymore, but I used to, without even realizing it. And through the EFT tapping, I realized that was going on. And you see, I knew why, but I hadn't realized actually that I was doing it. And it was so strange, because this year, my brother, who is as thin as a rake, came to stay. And he brought a lot of food. And I watched him do it. And I was like, oh my God, this has nothing to do with weight. This is a pattern that we both learned. This is what we have to do. When there's food on the table, we eat it. And I manage to interrupt it. And this year, in December, I was in Italy, I had visitors, then it was Christmas, and at the end of the Christmas period, I realized that I had stopped interrupting the pattern. And I'd actually put on some weight, but also I felt very uncomfortable. And I decided to relaunch Body Magic and basically give it away. So it's 5 weeks, starts next Thursday, and it's $99. That's it. I charge much, much more than that. I charge $550 when I do it one-to-one. And I can't remember how much, I think it was $250 this time last year, and it was full. But this time I just wanted to make it available for everyone. It's my kind of post-Christmas gift to people. Yeah. And I'm running it now because it's a time where, you know, the New Year resolutions, and most of the time people are giving it up. The New Year, you know, people have like given up the New Year resolution, and they're feeling really crap about it. So it's a kind of reboot, and hopefully it will help. And I think there's 3 places on that course. So I've already got 5 people signed up for it. And I work with very small groups. It's online. It's an hour a week for 5 weeks. And I work very much, it's kind of, there's hot seats. So people get a chance to work on their individual issue. Not every week, but, you know, on the whole, in the 5 weeks, you'll get a chance to work on your individual issue. And that's it. Yes, so that's, and you know, with Body Magic, as I said, the 5 people I've got signed up on it have all done the course before. So I've encouraged people to do it again, because why not? You know, to have another experience of it, to go deeper into it. But there will be some basic training in EFT tapping, a bit of revision, and then we'll look at why the emotions and how we eat and how it all works, and then we'll look at the cravings. Then we'll look at what is called psychological reversal, which is when somehow, with all the will in the world, we just don't do it. And we'll look how to deal with that and how to deal with it with EFT tapping. And then this time I'm adding something quite fun, which is part of kinesiology, and it's body test. It's muscle testing. Oh. It's very simple technique because if you can get muscle testing right, it's a lot of fun, because your body will tell you what's right for it or not. It's a lot of fun. I mean, if you're a kinesiologist, it's a science. It's very complex, very subtle, and I'm not teaching that. But I'm teaching 2 very easy muscle testing techniques that will allow your body to tell you whether you want to eat the box of chocolate or not, or whether, you know, it fancies whatever. So we'll do that as well. Yes, that's it really. So if you're interested, let me know.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. We'll send that information to Maria, but yeah. I will post your link
That would be lovely.
when
Yeah.
we're done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lovely.
that'd be great. Oh my gosh, this was wonderful. So, are we ready to learn what oils and crystals to
Oh,
use
yes.
for
I'm,
tapping?
yes. I'm all excited because I've just signed up to doTerra. So I'm a very, you see, you're going to teach me now, Footie, because I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited. Actually, I'm writing it down. I'm taking notes here.
Oh, well, you're going to have the video, so I'm going to
Oh,
send this to you.
yeah.
I'm going to put it in YouTube and then send it to you. Yeah.
Brilliant.
So, when selecting what essential oils to use for EFT, I mean, there are so many choices, but I tried to narrow it down to 4. And each of these oils does come in a roller ball. So that's handy when when you're on the go. So, so you can get it in the little bottle or a large bottle. And there you go.
Brilliant.
And then there's the roller ball. And Bea, if you're not familiar, or anybody that's watching, it has a little ball. So then you can rub it on you.
Oh,
It's
wow.
hard to see. So I like it when I'm out because then I don't have to have it on my hands. Not that that matters, but sometimes certain oils are thick and if you're driving. So I kind of like to take the roller balls on the go. That's what I like to do. So the first oil is forgive. So there's times when we need to let it go, move on. Self-limiting beliefs, are crazy thoughts that pop into our mind telling you something negative, right? And you start hearing, I can't, and these thoughts, can paralyze you from pursuing your dreams and sabotaging you from what you want to do. So you may undermine yourself by saying that achieving what you want is impossible. So, like saying for losing weight or for you're trying to quit smoking, you might start thinking, oh my gosh, I can't lose this weight. I can't stop smoking. This is just too much for me. So the process of forgiving can be challenging and sometimes it can take a long time. Forgiving yourself can be even more difficult, but if you've been carrying a burden for a while, today might be the day to start letting go of the hurt and the anger, right? So, this oil inspires a grounding atmosphere and complements affirmations of contentment, uh, relief, and patience. So, I think that's a really good oil to start with. That's why I put it for the first one to start with the EFT. So, if you're going to sign up with Baya, you may want to order the forgiveness oil. And it also comes in a kit too with a bunch of other emotional oils. So then the second one that I decided on was rose. So
Ooh.
rose is known as the queen of oils. Okay, it helps reduce feelings of anxiety, and it's also known to help improve one's mood. And it just creates this energizing environment. A good one for meditating. So I actually put this on this morning because it's one of my favorites. And then of course there's lavender, good old lavender. So lavender helps to ease feelings of anxiety, stress, tension in our body and helps us feel at ease and calm. Um so with lavender, I always tell people that it kind of makes you sleepy for some people. It doesn't do that for me, but some people can take it at night and then they're off in dreamland. So lavender is something, you have to try it out and see if it works for you during the day. And then the last one is jasmine. Oh, I love jasmine. So suppose you struggle with self-confidence before your EFT session. It's like you're scared. You go, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do EFT or any, situation that you may encounter. So in that case, this is a beautiful oil to use, and it helps promote self-confidence and a positive outlook on life. I love, love, love jasmine. Yes, it's one of my favorites. I actually like the florals. I was surprised because if you had asked me like 10 years ago, I would always say, no, no, I don't care for the florals, but I've kind of adapted. So, and then I said, and then this was at the last minute because I haven't been talking about crystals, rose quartz. So, rose quartz popped in my mind. So, I looked up my crystals um, that I thought might be helpful for EFT, for the EFT journey. And I have my binder of Colleen Bruce's sheets here, and I found the rose quartz, and this stone releases anger, fear, and guilt. And why do we have to worry about anger, fear, and guilt? But I think that it goes hand in hand when you are overweight, when you drink too much, when you're smoking, So it enhances forgiveness and is helpful in bringing peace and avoiding negativity. So you could hold the rose quartz in your hand. And maybe when Colleen gets on to view the video, she might even recommend another crystal to hold during an EFT session. So this is what I've recommended. I will put these links in, with the video once I do the YouTube, and that way you can go in. And these links, just to remind you, they're educational links. So you can go in, you can read about it, and then if you want it, you can click on and get it. But always chat with me first if you are a new person, because I've had people say, oh my gosh, I bought this oil that I thought was from you and it wasn't from you, and I now know what the problem is, so we can fix that. So Baya, thank you so much. This was a wonderful morning.
Well, thank you so much, Footie, for having me, and I'm very excited about the oils as well, and the rose quartz, because I think it's always lovely to have. I mean, I can imagine I'm going to do it because I have rose and lavender at the very least, and I'm going to, when I'm teaching on Thursday, we start on Thursday, next Thursday. When I'm teaching, I'm going to have my diffuser on so that I can have a feeling, and I think that would be quite exciting. And I love when the different techniques merge like that, because it just we kind of reinforce each other, and I think that's really important.
I do too. Yeah, it just enhances. It's like they always say, like if you want an oil to work, add frankincense and he'll just give it a boost. So that's how I feel about EFT meditation with doing your vision boards. If you add a few things in there, it just gives it a little boost.
And I mean, I can't believe, we've talked so much about doTerra, and you sent me, I remember you giving me that amazing gift of sending me, as a gift, the lemon.
Oh, yes, that was, last year, yeah.
You went to such trouble, you're such a dear woman, you went to such trouble to do it. And I've been using it in my tea. And it's amazing. And I cannot, now I've joined and I've got my box and everything, I cannot believe the quality.
Yes.
Because I grow my own lavender, and I dry it and I make stuff with it. But the quality of the oil is absolutely extraordinary. And you need, I know people say it was very expensive, but you need a drop instead of 10.
You just need a drop.
I mean, this morning I was putting some ylang ylang in my washing, in my, what's it called? In the rinsing water in my washing machine. And I mix it up with vinegar and water. But instead of putting an entire bottle, which is what I would have done, I put 5 drops.
Yes. Yes.
and smells beautiful. And I've, you know, and so I just wanted to say that because it is I'm absolutely astonished by the quality
Oh,
of
I'm so pleased. Yeah. I mean, there's so much to learn. I always tell people, don't get overwhelmed, because some people will go and they'll watch 100 videos, you know, and I'll say, you can't learn that way. I said, just take your time learning. And there's so much in the back office that's free that
That's
you
it.
can go and learn.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love lemon in my tea.
It's wonderful. And
Yes.
I'd even put it in salad, you know, a
Yes.
drop, a
Yes.
tiny bit, not much. But in a salad dressing, it's as good as putting some lemon juice on it.
And it's better for your teeth.
Yes, yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah,
I mean, for his tea, I'm completely sold.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm so happy that you're
yes,
pleased.
yeah,
That's so
I am very pleased. Yes,
yeah,
thank you.
and for everybody, you know, sometimes I do like a freebie, you know, I'll send out free, but I didn't realize how difficult it was going to be to send
Oh my
Baya
God,
a gift to Ireland, because she doesn't have a regular address like
no.
everybody else.
I live in the middle of nowhere. And in Ireland, each house has got its own postal code. So if you put my postcode, the actual in the system, it's my house.
Yeah, yeah.
There's so few people in Ireland. There's only 6 million of us on the island. So everybody knows where everybody else lives, which is not helpful when you live in America and you're trying to send something to me, which is what
Yeah,
happened.
it
But
was
I
so
have to
funny.
say,
Yeah.
I mean, doTerra or Europe is amazing because we did the whole thing of me joining and ordering, and I had my orders within a week. I couldn't
Yeah,
believe how quick
it
it was.
doesn't take long.
No,
It doesn't take long, like 3 to 5 days. The
yes,
only time that I'll tell people, if they join and order something during convention week, anything like that, anytime
yeah,
when they're doing a big event, then
yes,
everything comes to a
yeah,
halt, because
obviously, yeah,
most of their people are at convention
yeah.
working. Yeah, so I always say give them grace, everything will be fine, you know. And Europe is going to have the doTERRA convention in I think it's Portugal.
Oh wow.
I think it's Portugal. I'll look it up. I'm pretty sure, and I believe it's either March or May. I always get the
Wow.
two mixed up. I think it's May, because we have leadership in Orlando in March. So yeah, I think the European convention. So if you have a chance to go to Portugal
Yes.
for that, that would be amazing. You'll be blown away.
Yeah.
So okay, thank
Lovely.
you all for joining us this morning. I actually enjoyed doing our tea time in this morning instead of doing it at night. So maybe I should change our time. What do you think, ladies? I'll have to see about that, because this was easy. Now I'm done.
That's it. Your day is yours.
Yeah, now I'm all done. I don't have to worry about. Yeah, and if I want to go out to dinner, I can go out to dinner tonight. Oh my gosh, this is great. Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Don't forget to spread kindness throughout your day. And we will see you next Thursday.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.